And boom, we are live.
Bang and boom. I think that might be Monty's phrase, boom. Mine's bang. But nonetheless, welcome, folks. CJ, Monty, and I are happy to welcome you guys. As you might be able to tell, I've probably been walking around in New Orleans too much, enjoying the finer things in the city, and still down here until this afternoon. But as usual, our presentation today of the Daily Crypto Byte brought to you by Voyager. And they came this close today, guys, this close to breaking $30 a share. Many of the viewers that are still just getting into crypto have been telling us how much they appreciate us mentioning Voyager all the time because that stock, like I say, I think when we started the Daily Crypto Byte, this one was in the low teens, and it is more than doubled. Today it hit 29.49, and that's VYGVF. That's VYGVF. That is the OTC version that trades in the United States. It's Canadian regulated brokerage, and it's available to every state except New York. One of these days, New York is going to make it easier, sorry, for people to actually, trade crypto assets, digital assets. But until then, it's available in 49 of the 50 states. So we appreciate you, Voyager, and great job running the stock, Steve Ehrlich and team. They are still in the top 5 of downloads, well ahead of Robinhood and other major apps. It's a great crypto app. Check it out. But guys, what did you think of the trade over the holiday weekend?
Yeah, we had a pretty interesting weekend of price action, that's for sure. Bitcoin once again getting rejected at that 60K level, which to me came as a bit of a surprise, right? Because it seemed like we had sufficient momentum and we had tested that 60K level enough times for us to finally break through and test all-time highs. And I was kind of hoping that that would happen. And I was basing a lot of my altcoin analysis on the fact that Bitcoin was going to break to the upside. But fortunately, a lot of the altcoins still saw very positive price action this weekend. We saw many assets make new record highs that we'll talk about later today. But also, I wanted to touch on some more kind of somewhat important news coming out in the crypto world, and that is Starbucks will be accepting Bitcoin payments using the backed wallet. So we've talked about this before, right? There's the big debate: will Bitcoin holders even want to spend their crypto because it's a taxable event? But the fact of the matter is, this is still bringing more utility to the table, which ultimately for me is a good thing. I think it's great for both Bitcoin holders and for Starbucks. And I think ultimately it's a step in the right direction. And one thing I think that you can kind of take away from all these news related events we've been talking about in the last few weeks with these family offices opening and PayPal now allowing them to spend crypto and Starbucks now taking Bitcoin payments, this really feels like we're kind of teetering on the brink of an explosion here in the crypto world, an explosion of mainstream acceptance. And I think that is going to be the catalyst that drives us to new all-time highs. But yeah, like I said, we're still kind of teasing with that 60K level. And CJ, I'm curious to hear kind of what you're thinking about Bitcoin's current price and kind of where you think it may be headed this week.
Yeah, like you said, kind of an interesting weekend. The fact that we were not able to break above the all-time high or that previous resistance around 60K. But what we're seeing is a nice ascending triangle on the 1 day. If you look at that first red arrow on the left, that was a TD sequential sell 9, and that drove us down from resistance initially. We found support at that second green arrow on the right side, and that gave us some nice support from that upward sloping trend line. Now, of course, flat line levels are stronger than upward sloping trend lines, but nevertheless, I think that level will serve as pretty good support as we reach closer to the apex of that ascending triangle. And I think eventually we have a much higher likelihood of breaking to the upside and breaking out to new highs in the next week or two. But however, we may go back to that initial upward sloping trend line at about, let's see exactly where that price level is. Yeah, so around high 50s, possibly 56 as the low, but still looking pretty bullish overall.
Yeah, and CJ, last week when we talked about Bitcoin, we were talking about where it may go if it does break out. And looking at this formation, it does look like the breakout could happen this week. If that were to happen, what levels do you think Bitcoin could run up to, and kind of what sort of time frame are you looking at for that sort of run up?
Yeah, well, the breakouts from the ascending triangles are usually pretty strong and happen very quickly. We've talked about price levels around 70K or possibly 75K for the end of the month. I think that's a little highly optimistic based on where we currently are. I think it's difficult to make those projections until we actually do break above resistance. But, we're looking at the 60 level, the 62K level, but there's really not much until, that 70 level. So we'll just have to see. But those are the primary target levels of resistance that I've been looking at.
Cool, CJ. And yeah, I've been seeing a lot of like on-chain metrics supporting the fact that kind of money's flowing off exchanges and getting put away for the long term. And I think that kind of fits well with your ascending triangle formation here. I think it explains kind of why the pullbacks are a bit tighter each time we kind of test that 60K level and pull back. There's just less sellers in the market and more buyers at a higher price point. So it makes sense to me that we're kind of teasing with a breakout here at 60K. But without further ado, would you guys like to get into everyone's favorite segment of the show, and that is the Doge of the day?
I do, but I want to mention one quick thing, if I could, Monty.
Yes, go ahead,
Uh,
Jon.
the comments by Mark Cuban about Ether and obviously Ethereum last week, just a couple days ago, I guess probably Friday, Friday last week when you guys were on, but I was traveling. Um, it just drove ETH, and also that move by Visa. I think also the move by PayPal to let you use Litecoin, Ether, and Bitcoin for payments. I mean, it drove it to a new all-time high over 2,100. So I just wanted to point that one out because, man, just it seems like just a couple weeks ago you could have been buying ETH below 1,500, and now for that to move that much, to move over 2,100 is an amazing run, and so I just wanted to sort of highlight that before we get into the doges of the day.
Yeah, ETH actually was CJ's Doge of the day on Friday.
Yep.
We allowed it even though it doesn't necessarily fit the criteria of a Doge. And since it went up, not down, he's not in the penalty box. So yeah, great pick by CJ. So CJ, I'm actually curious, do you have a pick for us this fine Monday morning? And if so, what are you looking at?
We've just had such unprecedented volume and action in the altcoin market this weekend. We had BitTorrent going up, we had StormX going up, all on the backbone of that massive move by ETH. But, since we're coming back a little bit in Bitcoin, I'm just going to wait for the start of the week and see how things kind of set out. I'm kind of looking for Bitcoin to pull back maybe a day or going into Tuesday. But I just, I may be wrong about that. And I just want to see how things kind of pan out to start the week. But interesting to hear your guys' thoughts and takes.
Sure. Yeah, CJ, like you said, a lot of moves feel like they already happened. But I mean, that's a mistake that has left many people sitting on the sidelines while coins continue to rally. And one that I'm looking at that I think can continue to rally despite having a tremendous weekend is Vechain. So if you look at this chart here, you can see these last two 4-hour candles have been tremendously strong, broke above 10 cents. And I think for me, that is a good indication to enter a long trade. It's risky entering a trade when it's moved this parabolic in such a short period of time. But I like the fact that it's setting up above 10 cents. I think that if VeChain continues to rally, there's a good likelihood that it will never go back below 10 cents. This thing has solid fundamentals, solid technicals. The run up has been just more consistent than what we've seen in most other assets. And like I said, the fundamentals are very strong. It's a supply chain logistics coin. I think that having that strong utility really appeals to retail traders. So when we start to get that next wave of retail speculation, I think they're going to look for appealing utility. And VeChain has some pretty appealing utility. I think it's something that's going to be around for a while. It's backed by some major players in Asia, and I think it is going to have a strong week and a strong month. So I am still riding the VeChain train.
And I think I didn't buy enough of it. You never bet enough on a winning horse, right, guys? But I bought it when you first recommended it, Monty, and it almost tripled from that level. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think it was around VET was around 3 cents or thereabouts. Maybe it was just under that or just over that. Can't say for sure, but now here it is, pushing 10.5 cents. That's a pretty massive move. Uh, Again, during the same time, Bitcoin has been bouncing back and forth, like you said, topping at 60 and not able to break through to the upside. So the question is, and maybe we'll look at it on whale maps tomorrow, but to see, is 55 that level if indeed we fail here at 60 again, and I'm talking Bitcoin in that regard, folks. But mine is Holo, and the symbol is hot. Certainly been hot. It's a cheap shot, because this is one that was a penny 7 days ago. Now it's pushing to almost 2.8 cents. If you're looking for doges, that's certainly a doge. And HOT is the symbol. The volume picked up really dramatically. I mean, last Friday, I think it was trading about $600 million worth of this coin. And then suddenly over the weekend, 2 different days, I saw it trade over 2.6 billion in volume in a 24-hour period. So that's, for whatever reason, and I never really question it. I just kind of say, okay, volume is truth, and they're buying it. And they've driven it up to not quite triple, but certainly 2 times where it was, and I'll take it. And that's going to be my Doge of the day today. Holo, or hot, HOT is the symbol.
March 30th, we had that one at a penny and a half. And today we are sitting at 2 pennies with a seventh of a tenth. So well over 100% in just under a month.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing a lot on Twitter. So I'm sure the sentiment data for that one is strong. Haven't looked at it, but I'm sure that is a contributing factor. But as always, I think that is about all we've got for today. It's going to be an exciting week in crypto, so I am looking forward to the rest of the episodes this week. As always, thank you to Voyager for sponsoring this show. And if you guys liked what you saw and you want to come hang out with CJ and I, you can try our crypto trading room for just $1 for the first month. Link is right below me, marketrebellion.com/try crypto. We have a pro charting service, an ever-growing community of really intelligent traders. We publish trade insights like the ones that we like, our doges of the day, but just more elaborate. And there's a chat that's pretty much active 24/7. So come hang out, come chat with us, ask us about whatever assets you're looking at. And yeah, have a great week.
Enjoy, everybody. See you tomorrow.